I'm really excited to announce that I've launched my first ever cookbook, and it's a Kindle ebook. I'm so excited, if you couldn't tell, because I've worked months on it and I've never done this before, and it was definitely a learning curve. And it's got 65 recipes in it. It's all soups, so it's all for the soup maker. I know my soup of the week videos get really popular, and I constantly get asked for new recipes. And also I find when it comes to searching for a recipe on my blog, you have to search for it. It's quite tricky because I haven't paid anybody to do a really fancy website, which I would like to one day. So I wanted to talk a little bit about my soup book, but I'm not going to leave you empty-handed as well, because I want to share with you the front cover recipe, which is a pea and mint soup. And if you watched my pea and ham soup quite a few months ago, I did promise you all the pea and mint soup anyway. So at the minute, it's only available as a Kindle, but it can be downloaded onto any device you've got using a free Kindle app. And hopefully that way you can just follow the instructions while you're in the kitchen, or conveniently use your phone or whatever you've got at hand. So if you can see that okay, I've just downloaded a free sample on my Kindle because I've already got a copy on my Word document. And you'll find an introduction in there of why I make soups, because I eat them almost every day. And I've tried to keep it short and sweet because I knew people were just really wanting to see the recipes. And I've actually colour coded them as well, because most of the soups I do actually use chicken stock, even though it might be predominantly vegetables. So all you have to do is just swap over the chicken for a vegetable stock cube and you're fine. That would probably apply to 90% of the recipes in there. And there's absolutely loads to choose from. So I hope you do like it if you do buy it. And don't forget, if you make any of the recipes, please tag me on Instagram, #Tastefully Vikkie, because I just can't wait to see them. I get really excited. And I wanted to make sure it was priced competitively as well, because you really should be spending most of your money on the ingredients, not just big fancy cookbooks with expensive ingredients. And that's another thing, I've made sure all of the ingredients are everyday things that you can hopefully buy if you just toddle off to your local co-op or whatever, because that's where I spend most of my time rather than going to the big Tesco's, because I just buy things as and when. And I must mention a disclaimer, there is absolutely no Slimming Club terms within the book, because I don't officially represent anybody. I'm just me creating my own low-fat recipes in my own kitchen, and I just like to share the ones that I really like. So let's finally move on to this week's tutorial. But please don't write anything down, because I'll leave the link below and you can just print it off if you wish, and or even just use it on your phone as you go shopping. So here comes the science part. Concentrate. So you'll need 1 medium onion, 2 garlic cloves, 700 grams of frozen peas, 1 medium potato. I used about 170 gram unprepared weight, 700 ml of boiling water, 2 chicken stock cubes, some seasoning, and a bunch of fresh mint leaves. My little tip is, if you do forage in the reduced aisle, quite often I find bargain fresh herbs, and you can just throw them in the freezer and use them later and they'll still be fresh. They will wilt a bit in the process, as you'll see later, but this is perfect for just a soup. And a twist of lime per serving. So firstly, I'm peeling the potato. You can actually leave it on if you wish for extra fibre, but I just prefer to peel it off in a soup. And then we need to dice it as small as we possibly can so it cooks quicker in the soup maker. It's definitely one of the quickest recipes as well, because there's no sautéing at all, it's just veg prep. And then chuck that in your machine. If you're not using a soup maker, that's fine, you can just use a pan and a blender. Now moving on to the onion, we need to peel this bad boy, and we're going to finely dice it. Or just roughly chop it, I'm just so used to dicing it. And chuck that in as well. Now to give it some extra depth, I'm mincing in 2 cloves of garlic. This is completely optional, as with all garlic, but I just love the stuff. And then we're going to crumble in both of our chicken stock cubes, or if you want to make this vegetarian or vegan, just substitute for your favourite stock. And now it's time to chuck in all of those peas, and don't worry about them being frozen, they'll cook perfectly. And then we're going to pour in our boiling water, but make sure it is boiling because it'll need to loosen up the peas, so the blade can work more freely. And another tip, if you haven't quite reached the top 600mm line, but it's quite close, just top it up a little bit more. It's only because I actually used a smaller onion. And give it a really good stir with something non-metal, because you don't want to ruin the element inside your soup maker. And finally, it's time to add your seasoning. And it's as simple as that. And now just pop the lid on and set it to smooth.
and it'll cook in 21 minutes. But if you're cooking it the traditional way, just simmer for about 20 to 25 minutes or until everything is tender and blitz. And once it's done, your soup maker should be beeping at you, and we're going to add all of the mint leaves and just press blend again. And once you're done, just pour into bowls, and you're more than welcome to garnish it with extra mint if you've got it, like I did for the front cover of my book, and give each one a twist of lime.
So I'm pretty sure most of you will find that really tasty, and it's a nice thick soup as well. I don't really like them too thin, but generally it's better to make a thicker soup and thin it out later if you wish, because it's trickier to thicken it up if it is too thin. So I often recommend to a lot of people, if they're starting out, to go 800 grams of veg and 800 millimeters of water, and I think 1 mil equals 1 gram, and that is as easy, simple as I can explain it to you, because that's what I do when I make my soups. And before I go, I must thank absolutely everybody who's bought my book, and of course anybody who's supported me in the process while I've been blogging, and anybody who's just made my food as well. So thank you again so much. It's just been so exciting, and I'm glad I could give something back to you as well. So that is it for now. I hope you like the recipe, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you do, and hopefully I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye!